Hello, good evening. What secrets does Diddy keep and where do they lead? What does the alleged grip on the industry have in common with the control tactics of cults? From hidden tapes to celebrity silence, we're going to talk about how far his influence goes and what the correlation is between cults and that behavior. Hi, thanks for joining. Got my good friends here tonight. Dr. Timewaster,
Howdy.
Tyler,
Oh, hey,
Alpha Sub.
Hello.
swap us.
Oh yeah, we are.
Bravo. Thank you for
You always end up in
joining
the wrong
us.
positions.
Swap us.
Yeah.
Swap.
I mean, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Hello, Jonathan. Thank you for joining us. Good to see you. Yo, yo, yo.
We put the poll up yet?
Yes, so
Or is
as
that
you
coming later?
join,
in the chat.
there is a poll in the chat. So make sure as you join, you click that. Let us know what you think about the question there. Where will these secrets lead? I wonder that myself. But I also wonder what kept Diddy in so much control for so long. How did he
I'm
make that
currently
happen?
trying to look up a list of the a list of celebrities, but I'm just skeptical of the sources I'm finding. Like India Times.
They all don't have what the FBI has. They just
That's
so
true.
every video every time they share a video, this is leaked footage. That's the day party. You don't have what they got out of that room.
Standards of evidence can be
That's
important.
MTV footage.
Yeah.
Some
I
real
mean,
footage.
you got to be critical of evidence, unfortunately. Otherwise, how do you know?
Right. And there's a lot of scandalous information out there that I don't think is true. I think we should make sure that we use our media skills when we're reading things. I mean, you just have to say it's alleged. We don't know, but there is a lot that he is charged with, arrested for.
I mean, step one in being skeptical, if you hear something that sounds shocking, just take a break, take a step back and ask a few more clarifying questions. It doesn't mean it isn't true, but it does help weed out the
sensational.
The sensationalism, the people who get off on you liking their post and sharing it a million times. Who cares if it's real? But that just muddies the water when there is a lot of evidence out there and can be a distraction tactic to not focus on what's real, right? If we can't distinguish what's real and what isn't, then we might be liable to everyone's guilty or no one's guilty. Forget it. We'll just throw it out. And so that's actually been tactics, I believe, in courtrooms before. It's not new. If you can confuse and muddy the information as much as possible, you might not get a conviction or
lighter sentence.
Mm-hmm.
That's why evidence is so important. Not just scraps of paper.
Right.
Similarly with the Bible, scraps of paper. But hey, anyway, I digress. On back to the topic.
I mean, it's all part of the topic, but
right, so many parallels. It hurts.
It's because it's complicated, right? None of this stuff happens overnight. None of this stuff is possible without money and complicit behavior for whatever reason, whether it's out of coercion or a desire to gain power yourself. But like, it's complicated. Something big took a lot of effort.
Right. Yeah. My perception from what I hear is that it was a lot of exercising power over each other, more so than it being a sex thing.
Right. There's a difference between Yes, there is a 100% difference in those behaviors.
Yeah, because I think everybody's getting caught up when everybody's kind of scrutinizing. They're not. They're confusing the sexuality or whatever went on as part of it. It's
Right.
part of the wrongdoing. It's like, nah, who cares about that part? It's like it's like how willing were the participants, not the actual thing that was going on.
Right.
Just the willingness of the participants. That's what's at stake right here. Not what he was doing, but people getting that other part caught up in there. So
Before you came backstage, I had mentioned that it's very similar to like Sodom and Gomorrah. People get sidetracked about how the men behaved in the city, and they say, "Oh, homosexuality. They wanted to have sex with the angels," when it was really just about the control they wanted to have over these strangers that they didn't know that were unwelcome. That was the wrong behavior. But they've
did we just preach a word? Did we just preach?
We're doing Bible studies.
We really
here.
just did. Like they completely missed the message in like Jeremiah and stuff like that. And
see, that's what I'm saying. You can. That's why we can't. You can't even like. See how we use the Bible right there. Make that story relate, but that's where it stopped. We're not going to say, all right, you know what?
Same with the story, though. Like that's what the story did
I'm saying,
too.
but we didn't. But we're not out here like literally believing what we just talked about.
No,
right?
But it's such a common story. It's something it's so ingrained into our history.
It's basic human behavior. Like we ain't really changed. We haven't really changed as much. But like with P Diddy, like the reason everything is different now is everybody was pre-internet. Nobody was expecting this the way it is when they was doing whatever they was doing.
Right.
It's like it's like a serial killer before DNA didn't expect being able to be tracked by DNA. So you
DNA to catch them years later.
Yeah, now you got somebody knocking on your door. It's you 60 years old.
But now the internet is forever, and there's people, celebrities allegedly erasing some of their social media now because of some things that they may have said that now could incriminate them allegedly, like because the internet is forever and people hadn't really thought about that when they were putting these things out there, because there were times where it seems as though it was more socially acceptable. And I'm not saying it was, but it just seemed to be permitted more. Or
I would say people because now it's like what I see is like if you have any footage with you and P Diddy, you're lumped in with that
by association.
And I'm saying I said, but when you think that on and this ain't like trying to defend P Diddy and just the basic human action.
I need them.
There's plenty of people out here. If you look on your mantle, your uncle's a creeper right here. The family's taking a picture with him. There's so many people taking pictures with terrible people in their families and ignoring it, but they don't take on the ownership of what they're doing. You get what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, no, and people don't. I mean,
so it's easy to look.
Standards come from that's
people they'll only notice it when it's like a superstar, but then when it comes down on the smaller level, somehow they can't see that like
right. When it's
happening right
more
there.
likely to be your nephew or uncle or whatever.
P Diddy is a rarity.
Yeah.
like
right.
Like the likelihood is like he's a rarity.
Right. And if something that is as massive as what had to come about before he finally got caught as a rarity with all of the extreme things that are out there, imagine how easy it is to get away with it when you're just nobody from some nowhere town. Yeah. Right.
And because
nobody from nowhere.
In my opinion, they make it sound like it was this elaborate mastermind scheme that took. I said like it was a pretty easy operation for that. You just, hey, I'm P Diddy, come on over here, and people just he didn't have to do much work. It was easy for him to do that. He just don't. I'm just throwing a party. And then when you wrap up what P Diddy is doing, right?
Party.
This is you wrap up what P Diddy is doing, and then you take into account the type of other atmosphere in terms of the music and what the music lifestyle brings. You can't see it because it's so all blended together. This party, we all just out here, just da da da. You're not gonna see it. So while you getting tore up at the front end of P Diddy's house partying, you don't see in the back end over there. So yeah, you're there. I sound like I'm trying to defend the Phoenix footage. I was just there.
Well, actually, I wrote this down. I wrote people at parties, and then I thought about like how many times have I ever been at a party and seen something that made me uncomfortable just being there? Mm-hmm. And did I say something? Did I leave? Like, how did I respond? And then just imagine other people, celebrities, maybe young, impressionable celebrities that are just new, getting invited to something, and then just like, what do you do? You know?
Yeah, I went from party to party drunk. I didn't know where I was at.
And nobody wanted to take advantage of you.
Unfortunately. Y'all don't have the advantage I have, But yeah, I go to party. I would go to places. I'd be partying like I don't know, and this is not like on some PDD type of stuff. Like I've been around some people that are shady. I've been around a few shady people. Yeah, and I kind of been in the atmosphere knowing that like that's not really that's a shady person right there. But yeah, I ain't really directly interacting with them. I'm just in a party, so I'm not gonna leave. I'm gonna mind my own business, and I'm gonna have fun, and then I'm gonna go home. Now,
and there's parties and there's after parties as well. So just because you're there at the party doesn't mean you're there at the after party or the after party. However, the situation, the ritual, whatever it is that they have going on, however that goes, doesn't mean because you were there at the beginning that you were there at the end of the night, the next morning, whenever the bad things were going down as well.
Like that's all. Like I think sometimes I see some people who do be critical. It goes out the window when it comes to stuff like this, and they just start making claims that they don't. You can't know that. You can't say I knew P Diddy's was like this. I was right. You was not right or wrong. You had no information about anything. You made a guess.
I believe that is the definition of conjecture, which I had to look up before we started.
You had no
conjecture.
Right. What I am finding very quickly whenever you try to do any research onto this is that the sources you have to use when talking about people is shit like TMZ, that kind of stuff. There's not usually official things until you actually get to court documents.
Yeah, we don't know what court
but there's also pictures. I mean, you can see Leonardo DiCaprio leave the country in like paparazzi pictures, or you can see pictures of Paris Hilton at one of those parties, but we don't know what's going on at those parties. All we have is the allegations.
Yeah, because you don't know what part of the party it is. You don't know if that's that front end media. That's what I'm saying. The pictures we seen are not what they have. We don't have what's in, we don't have what they didn't.
What we have is incomplete, is what you're saying.
What they have is what they have is what they went after him with. None of the stuff they're showing us is what they used to get him. It's the stuff they took that we don't see, and you're not gonna see to the after. So everybody thinks they know.
Right.
So how do you know from small town nowhere?
Don't know what's on those tapes.
You never even left your town. You know what's going on.
We don't know what are on those.
I do want to say that the allegations that are out there make me feel like this is just rich people that have gotten enough money where they have run out of things to do. So they're like, I think I might like to have an underage person do some weird stuff. Maybe that'll give me an adrenaline rush.
Yeah, you've had so much power and everything that you want. Yeah.
Yeah, I would imagine, especially in like, I think like going forward, the newer people who start to gain wealth to become, their actions going to shift because they're getting to see what happens. Like again, P Diddy did all this stuff not knowing what was going to happen. He operated by, but now the rest of us, we're going to make sure we don't record our freak offs.
He had been able to pay off all his little, he's had a trail of bad things that he's done, but he's been able to pay off or finagle his way or quiet people in order to continue. And at some point, I think your head probably gets little bit big, and you think you can just contain it. As long as you have money, you can do what you want and contain it just as easily through
You can only contain
NDAs.
it until it's been so big for so long, because at some point in time,
When you look at
enough of it will come out,
Right.
and it will have to evolve or move hands or come crumbling down. And
yeah, it was hard for us to really see. Well, I'm speaking from my perspective in terms of P Diddy and just like, because I'm saying it was so like what we was being shown as kids was exactly like that's what we were seeing. We was bombarded with just like pouring
From
liquor
that industry.
Pouring liquor on females.
Here's my question: who's at the top of that hierarchy? Who owns these? Who really owns? Who really pulls the strings? Like, who's really the one who's forcing how the people on the label have to look, act, talk about, portray, etc. Like it's. I think there's a lot of nuance there too.
It's kind of a circle where
I've seen enough mob movies to know how this goes.
But it does have a lot of similarities with mobs as well.
P Diddy was able to hide really well under the guise of black culture and what he was doing. Because of that immense hip hop state of just like, yeah, you just party with a bunch of women and we're just freaks. So it's like, so he didn't really think about it as
a role.
Yeah, that's how he's doing what they say they do. This is what they do. So you grow up, you're not really thinking like, for example, you growing up as a dude, you see like, yeah, you get a chick drunk, and yeah. You don't really think about like what are you doing when you're coming from young, when everybody's just saying that. But now that you're older, you look at like you look at some movies like what's that movie? Revenge of the Nerds. It's like, ooh, man, that I don't like what you did here. But I remember the first time I saw it, it didn't register as anything. It registered as like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. He tricked her because it didn't register as like, oh no, you shouldn't be doing that, dude.
Oh, well, I mean, there's a lot of things that if you're talking about something from like a while ago, like Revenge of the Nerds 2 a while ago. Unfortunately, it was a while ago. I hate to break it to you.
That was just last year.
But there's been a lot of things that I've gone back and I remember very fondly. And I'm like excited to go back and rewatch it. And I rewatch it and I'm like, oh God, this is terrible. Or this is really
but that's back to what that's what you just put me back on track with that. Now, there's nothing going back and watching old media, even in my opinion, that's problematic if you're cognitively aware of what it is. But a lot of the things some people watching, they're not cognitively aware of what they're looking at. So we was not cognitively aware of looking at like, yo, this is like not what you should be doing. And some people, unfortunately, now don't. And those be the people. Those be the people. They haven't realized that like entertainment is fake and it's always been fake. And it makes sense because we have a vast population who believe in another entertainment book, the Bible.
Yeah,
so it makes sense. It makes sense to you. You believe that you operate under the sense of it, and because people operate under the sense that what you've seen on TV, all that is life and what's real. So you start operating weird. And
Not
people
a
don't say
cultural shift.
like this is like y'all know this fake, right? But they don't. But everybody don't want to go all. It's just like with the Bible. People are really defensive when you say, "Hey, if you keep going back past," like, and this is in terms of my opinion when it comes to like hip hop and black culture. Like when I get all the way back to the rap, I say like, yeah, it's always been kind of ugh. I was like, what was I listening to? I don't know what's going on here. It ain't like because people say, "Oh, it's like, no."
Wait, so you mean my grandparents were right all along when rap first became popular?
So 88% of you think this will lead to other industries being exposed. I just wanted to highlight that.
Yeah, so if people that are celebrities at the top are doing this kind of stuff, what are people at the top of like what an industry? Like the farm, I don't know what people at the top of the pharmaceutical industry are doing, or a war industry, better yet. People that are involved in war, like Lockheed Martin or Boeing.
Nothing we would know.
I can vouch for at least part of the pharmaceutical industry. As a pharmacist, we don't usually have a lot of problems with this kind of scandal.
What are you doing? What are you trying to cover up, Dr. Time Diddler?
Might be other problems the industry has, but
Oh yeah, drug problem.
Yeah, this is the medical industry at large. But anyway,
And
no,
I'm just gonna say it usually comes down to everything being based off of chasing profits, but I'll leave it at that.
Yeah,
Everything's profit. Every scandal is profit. Somebody's getting paid off Diddy right now. Massive amounts. Massive. You get a little piece of that. Get a piece of that Diddy.
Oh wow.
Okay, I just put up a new poll, so make sure you answer the poll. And when you after you answer the poll, can you please press 1 in the comments, put it in the comments so I know that you've answered. Thank you. Appreciate you. Love you. Mean it. You're the best.
I'm gonna wait before
a difficult question. Oh my god. Have you guys seen Seven Brides for Seven Brothers? That was so bad.
No, what is that? Does it have
it was a musical that my parents were more than happy to let me watch 1,000,000 times. Yeah. Anyway.
What is it about?
I'm kind of afraid. Good to see you, Arch. I am kind of afraid too.
You should be.
No, honestly. I don't know if I want to know.
Christian, one of them good Christian after school special movies or something.
It's literally like, oh, look, there's 7 girls in this house, and we have 7 boys, and they all are of marrying age, apparently. And
they don't marry each other?
One of each of the girls to get them to marry them, and they make them fall in love after they each kidnapped one of them and isolated them on their own.
I want to say real quick about the poll. Let me say real quick about the poll. The government agency is involved in aiding and abetting, enabling Diddy's behavior. When we're asking you guys to answer this, please don't go with your first conspiratorial emotion. We want to know, like, is it actually likely, or is that just like conspiracy thinking? Because I'm kind of at a pause on whether to vote yes or no, just because of that. But I feel like, I mean, I don't know.
Should I end this one and add another?
Well, let's keep it open for a second. Anybody that hadn't voted?
So was that 7?
Okay, well, we've got 2 people so supposedly, thank you. They're following the instructions. We love you, Dan D. You're following the instructions. Thank you, Dinah. Thank you, Jonathan. You guys are amazing.
I've been recommended.
Okay, more people are leaning towards
likely.
That it's not likely. Okay. Now, do I think that there's probably people who are in these organizations who are possibly doity? Yeah. Hello. Why do you think they're in those organizations? So they can get away with being bad.
My first question would be is like, so the government has a part in this. Why?
So they can they can be the ringleaders, so they can be the mob. They're the mob boss of it.
But why though?
Because
Like, what would they gain from doing all that?
Wait,
From
what?
what would they gain from having the government I'm just thinking about what would the government gain for
class
having
wars.
Oh, well, remember
duty.
the government is really just individual humans doing a particular job, and they may or may not have access to something that's sensitive within their own job. If any one person is going to get hacked, exploited, that is the more likely scenario than the entire FBI is conspiring, you know what I mean?
Firing.
Which I think is
Probably
what
wrong.
people do. They think it's everything, but there's a lot of people that work within these same government buildings that aren't idiots. Like most of people actually like to do their work and will call things out. And so I have faith in humanity as a whole, that it's not the government, but it is individuals within positions of power who are either being coerced, abused, or want to take advantage of the situation, whether it's Diddy or a government official that
Blackmail.
Diddy.
I doubt there's like a large council, like they huddled in some room
Right.
trying to figure out how to get Diddy
They'll get
more
their dark
lube.
hoods on,
Right.
candles.
How can we get Diddy some more lube?
We could buy the lube factory.
Like
We're looking at the lube factory owners, you guys.
but on the other hand, like the one dude,
Right.
the one dude who said that it's a governmental plan to take down a black megastar because he wanted to sue the liquor company. Like, what? So because he sued the liquor company for what? Like, so he sued him because they something about somebody's deal with him. So they say, you know what? Let's send him to jail. Like, what would they gain?
Jail. Oy.
He's guilty of whatever they got, whatever the FBI got that day. That's what they got. He gone. That's crazy to go from.
The talent is up in that place. I wonder how it smelled.
He just walked in. He just walked in there for the rest. He's probably never gonna come back out again.
Or there's stuff laced in the oil. Maybe there's something laced in the oil.
Could be.
Will we ever know?
Oil base is a good drug delivery, but only for some drugs.
Can you absorb ketamine through the skin?
What about GHB?
I would have to go and check solubility on those.
Right.
Kinds of
well,
things.
next week we'll await your dissertation.
I will say that I don't think
let the pharmacist do the job.
Great, but there are people who make it.
But think about that for a moment, though. You have people who don't know anything about. They don't know that little bit of information you know. I'm not saying a little bit of information, but that little tidbit of what you told us. They don't know that, but they know exactly what's in there and how it got. Like they know, but they don't know. Right. But again, hold on. It makes sense. Again, when you look at it, it makes sense. It's not confusing why they believe those couple scraps of paper. It makes sense. It just makes sense.
And I want just to like defend people who are what you're describing. I feel like what it is it's like the hair standing up on the back of your neck. It's a red flag that you can't identify what it is that's making your skin crawl about being around this particular individual or seeing these things you're seeing. And you can't pinpoint exactly what it is maybe. And so it's easier to justify your feelings by coming up with an answer that makes sense because we as humans like to have answers. We want to have the answer now. And so
like people think because it's an Aquarius or whatever sign they say it is their year, that's the reason all this is being discovered. Meanwhile, they're ignoring all the things that have been coming out just for everything. There's never, but this is big news. But when you go watch news, when you pay attention to news and watch there's always some big scandal coming out. So it's not it's not a supernatural reason why people are getting caught. The evidence just caught up with them. Mm-hmm. It's just what happened. They got caught. They just got. They slipped up. They made the wrong mistake. They did whatever, and they just got caught. They got sloppy. That's what happened. Every serial killer get caught because they start getting sloppy.
I think Diddy got really sloppy. I think he got puffed up with pride. I think that he thought he could pay people off. He could get their silence through fear, coercion, blackmail. He got away with it for so long. He just thought he could keep
Once the world saw that video, him hitting on Cassie, it was like it was he couldn't
release the floodgates. It really
if this was 1994, sure, because I'm only watching the news, the local news mostly, and some people watch this. I will watch the rest of the country news. I'm going to watch my show. Watch my show. Everybody wasn't watching the news that showed you the other parts of the country as much, so you just bury the story. You can't bury the story now when there's like all these apps that can just upload to immediately and spontaneously and be right in everybody's face like this now. So time has got them.
I'm overwhelmed with
time is coming,
information
Dr.
every
Timewaster.
day.
You're overwhelmed with what?
Information every day.
Yeah,
y'all taking so much compared to all humans before us.
I don't think this is. I don't think it. What it is, where it's supposed to. I just think it's just like man. It's a lot. It's a lot to take in.
I just found something. Let me give you some more information to take in right now. Only because it's right in front of me. A deck of cards. Name any card.
Sorry. It really did. Sorry, it really did like come straight from the watchtower's mouth, puffed up.
A jack.
What is that? Card deck?
Close.
That'd be a lot more impressive if that was a jack, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
You had 54 chances to get that right?
It feels like you're giving me the middle finger. I'm not gonna lie.
Am I too close to the camera for that to look good?
No, we could see it.
Your wood panel walls.
I didn't realize I had this.
You wood grain. That's that wood grain.
Those books up there.
You got chrome around the doors?
Chrome around the doors? No.
Aluminum foil in your windows.
Are your windows blacked out?
Not right now, but they have been in the past.
Yeah.
It fits.
But that's just because I worked overnight. I need to get the light out. That's the only reason why.
Okay. So anyway.
But yeah,
back to the subject. Back to the subject at hand.
Did Diddy do it?
Did
well, we know he did. We know he did a lot of things.
Yeah,
right.
We just don't know to what the extent is.
I don't know this. We'll know in.
No, it's not.
Due time. The JW terminology. I don't have any.
The terminology is easier to get rid of than some of the ideology at times. Depends on what's more ingrained, but
the ideology goes deep. That rhetoric really sticks around.
The purity culture stuff also adds another layer to what's going on, because I see a lot of people. I have family members who they're like, Hollywood is evil. They eat the adrenochrome out of fetus babies or whatever, all kinds of conspiracy theories about that. Everybody was on Epstein's flight. And everybody's gonna get this party. And I think one of the things that I've seen people do is go, look how disgusting, what they're doing, the homosexuality, just the wife swapping or whatever other kinds of things people were doing at these kinds of parties, or any Hollywood person or person at all, really, who wants to have consensual activities where everyone is enthusiastically involved. I don't care. But that's not the judgment line as Jehovah's Witnesses. The purity culture is
they're being judged on.
I
think they're being propagandized, this lifestyle. It's a lifestyle and it's a choice. And they think it's getting thrown in their faces and they're getting offended instead of just not watching what they don't like. If you don't like it, like, don't.
But I'm not hearing those same people say, the part that's upsetting the most is that people had their autonomy taken away, that people were being violated and abused. It's ew. Look at him do, it's like the actual sexuality of people's what's being put on display as the cause of and reason why such terrible things would happen.
Their morality is just so skewed.
But sex isn't what makes people do stuff like this. Just like sex isn't the reason that people rape people.
There's something behind it. There's a weird power hungry dynamic that's happening there. I don't want to pretend to get into the mind of a sicko who does that to people.
I was going to say that confirmation bias is a real bitch to get.
Confirmation bias is real.
Like, so
we're all susceptible to it.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a certain group of people are more susceptible to it, and that would be, I don't want to say less intelligent, but
I think the only people who are more susceptible are people who are unwilling to admit that they're even remotely susceptible.
Yeah, it's it's the religious.
Have they done it before?
It's the religious. It's been a while.
I wonder that if it's not in any of their articles, I'm I've heard it in their public talks, like in their individual congregations. I've heard talks about that before.
And what they're talking about is it's what you see. I don't know. It's like weird because it's like, in a way, it was toxic. like it was toxic to. It was toxic to me. It was toxic to my friends. Like when I think about what we thought versus what actually was, like you thought these people were. Well, I look at it now like wrestling. I was like, oh, these people. They was in a studio coming up with a concept for an album, and they was sculpting and making entertainment. This wasn't actual real life. It was based on real life, amped up like a movie. It was hyped up at certain points, but most of this reality isn't the reality. But
Hollywood takes things that were like, I do feel there were like when hip hop started, there were people who they spoke about what was happening, like reality.
That right there is the part. The idea that like that reality that they were talking about was every black kid's reality everywhere.
No, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that for those people who experience those things, that's how it was it was like, oh, that was your real life. Like you're really experiencing this and they're really writing it. There's no ghostwriters. This is you've lived this life.
Yeah. And then I thought I lived that life too, because it was like, it became associated with being black. Like that type of hip hop came like, this is black people doing this. He's like, I mean, yeah, sure, yeah, this makes sense. And then I got a little bit older and I look like,
I thought you muted for a second, but you weren't.
I don't think that's
bad. Should I jump on the bandwagon?
Can you enlarge that a little bit, or is that just me?
I'm just sharing.
It could be a little bigger.
What's wrong with my music? from 1993. Oh gosh. Well, is that when
lowercase
NWA?
b. Lowercase b.
Is that
Like,
when
see-
Straight Outta Compton came
See,
out?
the way they're talking about it is not how I'm talking about it. I'm talking about in a sense of not in the sense of how we consumed it.
But that's what I'm saying.
They're talking
We're
about
being that like they're propagandizing.
yeah.
They're propagandizing a way of like almost like storytelling, and they're turning it into this culture that they can now sell to everybody
Yeah.
for something to consume. What it was before was something within certain, like, I don't know, groups,
Yeah,
cultures.
like the separate, like from my little small, like you take a rap group like NWA and what they're rapping about. None of what they're rapping about applies to where I grew up. Well, sure, a little overlaps here, but they're rapping about gangs, drive-bys. I say, like, I live in a town when there's like less than 1,500 people. Like there's no
Right, but that's intentional, and they also want to sell a story to the rest of the Western world as this is all Black culture.
I don't even think it's. I don't even
have that lifestyle.
I don't even think it's intentional. I think it's just what we do as humans. In the same way, like you have to for me, it's like deconstruction from like, oh, I don't know what, I wasn't critically thinking. I was just consuming it. But when you look at like how people take the Bible and they believe it the way they believe it, to me, that's how it feels to me. Is how like, yeah, y'all are treating entertainment like holy text as in terms of what you're seeing is real.
Like real life, like it was actually lived that way.
You think this is real life. You really think you know these celebrities because
but people say that they're not I'm not influenced by music. That doesn't influence me. And I'm not saying that it can convince you to go like drive off a cliff, but I do feel as though music can influence your ideas 100%. It can propagandize you to.
I mean, music is
church. Yeah,
you should hear the music I listen to every day. It is insane.
We know.
See, I speak. If any of you have ever heard that band, it's pretty different.
Well, yeah, like you're saying, like they're making it into this weird thing. I'm talking about how you consume it. People not being aware of what they're consuming, not being understand like, yo, everything has to be look critical, or you'll fall into some line of something. You may operate and be unaware because, again, like I said, like that hip hop culture early on kept a lot of people blind to what Diddy was doing because you didn't think about it. Like, what did Diddy do? You didn't think about it. You hear all these, because Diddy, that joke with Diddy, that's all you know Diddy was to be a terrible, some type of terrible person.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't, you're like, oh, yeah, he's kind of like, wild rich people partying and da-da-da. So he's able to slide like that. But once the video, so he can't hide anymore. He just got to step down from his congregation and just spend the rest of his days in jail. Betsy,
as long as he doesn't turn on anyone, I suppose.
Yeah. And that's one of the next big questions. Is he going to sing? Is he going to be Epsteined?
Only if he's threatening to turn on other people who are more powerful than him and can make it happen, I suppose.
Right.
It's just going to feed the crazies.
I mean, it shouldn't be surprising behavior that if you have enough power to do something and you don't want people to know about it, you're willing to do it, you would do it. But like you said, these are special circumstances. This isn't every day. This isn't every situation. This isn't normal. But that's why eventually these things get found out, is because they become so big and they go on for so long. Eventually get found out.
It's such an abnormal behavior. It was easy to do with less technology to show what you're doing. But you live in a day and age, there's a camera every single place. Somebody can be recording it. There's no moment you cannot be caught on film almost.
Mhm.
unless you just go off grid. So that abnormal behavior is going to eventually get caught.
And then brings us to extreme cults because they have to go off grid in order to do what they want to do.
Anybody
Was
say other
Waco
things?
is a good example of a very far off grid that turned out bad, right? Like a lot of them turn off bad. Jonestown was even further off grid
Oh
and
god.
turned out even more terrible. But
I asked
Mhm.
my mom about Jonestown. I said, "Did you hear about that with Jones?" He said, "Yeah, they talked to me about it." But I was like, "Nah."
well, they were
They talked
recruiting
to
her.
your
Oh,
your
man.
grandma?
Yeah.
Damn. Woo. Thank goodness she didn't fall for that.
All right. I would have not existed.
Right?
Mm.
You came that
Thanks.
close. It must have been Jehovah's Holy Spirit looking after you.
Crisis
Honestly.
fish. I feel like the crisis fish right now.
Oh yeah.
Right.
If you could go back in time, would you tell your grandma to join the Jonestown cult?
Oh no. Take me out of here, Grandma. Take me out of
Do
here.
it.
Kinder ways to not be
Do
born.
it. Drink it.
Just join. Just join. Nah, I wouldn't do it. But that, like, yeah.
Oh yeah,
Jones,
Danny
like,
Masterson. Danny
Yep.
Masterson is tied to a lot of these
And is he the
celebrities.
mastermind? Let's face it, no.
No,
I mean,
no, and
Well,
I don't
he's the
even
master's
think
son.
Diddy is that
By
much of a
knowing.
mastermind, or he never would have got caught. He's not that big of a mastermind.
Yeah.
He's very sloppy.
yeah. I mean,
But Danny
I don't-
Masterson got away with it for a while.
yeah,
Because he
you know,
probably did have people propping him up.
In
I think he was in Scientology, and I think just again, same thing in that thing. If you get in a culture or something that's just being norm, it don't look like nothing to you. So yeah, you can yeah. You know,
It's not that big of a
Yeah.
deal.
yeah, it's not that big of a
No.
deal. It's nothing. It's not that it was. It's like yeah, people think like I'm not saying some people you looking at something. I'm saying people think that everybody would just at the Diddy party like this. It's like, no, some people probably was not just like, I ain't got nothing to do with that.
There were
Yeah.
probably so many people there also just partying that it's hard. Like, unless you're there
And-
enough or looking for it, you might not
And
notice
if
it
you-
either.
And I grew up around Black people, and a lot of times the thing out in terms of that culture and religion, it was always mind your own business. What they got to do with you? Ain't got nothing to do with you. Then we went on a whole. There was a whole sprint of no snitching, don't tell. And then people just talk about it. Just I did not telling on people. So of course, when it get down to the level, you just know. Boosie just said if he see his homeboy hit his woman, he gonna not be friends with him.
I was also
I
raised.
can imagine right now, like if
Yeah.
I found out my friend, oh, you hit your wife, oh, we can't be friends, man. I'm gonna tell. I'm gonna tell right now. You're going to jail, buddy. You're going down. But again, here I remember hearing when I go back and listen to the things I used to listen to, and I was thinking like, what was I thinking? And I'm like, man. Then I go look at some of my old pictures, and I'm like, I don't know what I was thinking. Like I know what I was thinking, but I'm like, I don't know what I was thinking. Like you was operating like autopilot almost at some point. So you don't notice none of that.
Well, I think Diddy is pretty calculated with a lot of the stuff that he
Oh yeah, the amount of
did.
money.
He's
The amount of
super-
money. The amount of money. The amount of money. And then he's dealing with people who ain't never had money like that. So it's easy to make a person think that here's $30,000. You may have some other bigger issue than
Didn't he
maybe.
give a young Justin Bieber a Ferrari?
Yeah.
Oh, I think he did. Somebody did, or was it Usher? So I feel like somebody did buy him something.
I'm sure
watch it.
somebody's got to be coming up with an article about all the connections.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of people who are doing their own little deep dives, and yeah, there's a lot of blind items, like whether or not they're true, whether or not they're the right person. again, a lot of it is conjecture and
I don't know. I just mean I want
embellishment.
somebody to give me the stuff that's like proven. Like, oh, we know that he.
Well, if the tapes are ever made, supposedly there's tapes out there being shopped, allegedly.
$500,000 on the dark web.
What?
On the dark web.
$500,000. You've been shopping.
Dark web. I'm not saying I got a copy or not.
Not that I know how to navigate the dark web.
That's just the only place you can find people saying it is you don't even know who started it. Well, we know who said it, but she can't tell you how she know that. She said, "I be monitoring." Okay, if you've been moderating it, you've been monitoring this video this whole time, watching it be sold, watching transactions about it, and you ain't got not one screenshot, not one camera. Like in this day and age of technology, not nothing. You didn't get nothing. And, see, I hate speculation with weird evidence, and this. I said, like, that's why you're doing the same thing that the church people are doing. They get you. They got him. But yeah, he's guilty of probably. They got him. I mean, I'm just looking at not based off nothing nobody else said, just based off the fact that they said he offered them $50 million and they said no.
50 million?
Well, you sound like every American prosecutor that ever prosecuted any person of color. I'm not basing this off anything but conjecture, but you got $50 million.
Yeah. He got $50 million. I mean, $50. See, I'm talking based on which is, if there's a hierarchy of conjecture I will listen to. I don't want to hear about the dark web modern thing. Like, yeah. But that ain't like what's more likely? They got what they want, and they got him, and we ain't gonna see it. He's going to jail, and then everybody else is shaking. We'll see who's next. I'm just like this.
I wonder what kind of jail. Like, will he be in a place where he's with regular, like, general population, or will he be put somewhere safe? Kind of like what happened to
jail.
Right, like we kind of saw in Orange is the New Black when that writer or something like that was, if you ever watched that show.
I've seen the show.
Went to jail, and they had like their own like nice room with extra amenities, etc.
Yeah, it was Goodfellas.
Orange is New Black felt like propaganda after a while.
Almost like it made you want to go into jail.
Yeah, like, why are you going to jail? Because it came jail. Like, think about it. Like, they went to jail.
They make all your meals. No,
they went to jail. Then it became like these
something.
Then it became all these jail shows, like 60 days in, and I'm like, yo, at this point, we know for sure. Like the idea that you sneak some people in and the other prisoners don't know. The first season, like, I could believe that the prisoners don't know that these people are actually fake. They just in there just pretending. But I think it was season 6 or 7. I'm like, they know what's up at this point. You got camera, like, come on.
Right. Anytime you see a camera crew, like, come on, you'd be suspicious that, is that damn show?
Yeah, why else would they be in the prison?
Wait, are they doing it in the same prison each time?
No, they go to different, but it doesn't matter if you go to the same prison. There's enough people who've been free during modern. They have
TV and phones and internet in prison.
Yeah, I see them on TikTok.
I follow multiple people on TikTok.
They know what's going on. Then I said, y'all done turned prison into entertainment now.
Yes, we are being sold something. We are being pushed towards an idea, and it's really wild to me just how prison has become an enterprise, huge corporation, not just an institution, but a way to just literally take every and anything from somebody for the entirety of their life, and they might not even be guilty.
It makes profits. I mean, that's why the 13th Amendment says that we can still have slavery as long as punishment for a crime.
Speaking of
Right.
13th Amendment, I was surprised that nobody knew that.
Yeah.
I was like, y'all didn't read that? That was, I said like that. Yeah, that was pretty.
Allegedly, the Project 2025, they want to rewrite the Constitution or something like that. I wonder what that's going to say.
Tyler read all 900 pages of it. What did it say?
I read the one page that pertained to me, and I was like, oh, I like that. But then, they got the one. But then
pertain to you, how so? A Texas man?
Well, the veteran stuff.
Oh, veteran. Okay.
Veteran stuff. I
you're
like that.
good with it.
I'm good. I ain't gonna read the rest. Nah, then I just said, but these people crazy. Crazy people got good ideas, you know, like a piece like that piece. What they said, like, yeah, that's real good. But that, no, man, that's you want Jesus everywhere. You gotta chill, bro. Back up. Bring that down.
What's the point of having a constitution that you can amend if we never amend anything dumb? Like, we don't ever take things away. We just add more layers to it. Like, we add laws. We don't take laws away.
It is my opinion that the Constitution can only be changed by people that have profits,
Money.
people that have a lot of money.
Yeah,
So
money.
That's why things don't get changed. It's
right.
Because the people with money haven't had a desire to change it yet.
And now corporations are people and money is free speech, but only if you have a lot of it.
Well, and these lobbyists are freaking being paid by organizations to however they pay off these government officials, and that's why it's really important, like I don't know, to be involved, I guess, but I know that's so unrealistic for some people and difficult, but yeah.
I mean, that's why I don't think it's like necessarily that governments would have been aiding and abetting things and people like Diddy. It's more like corporations or people in positions of power who benefit from money of corporations. Like CEOs, they get paid ridiculously well for doing the job of one person, is it? Right? And they're not doing billions of dollars worth of work. That's just how much they're getting paid to stand there and do whatever it is they're doing. And people like that, when you have that much money, you have a lot of power that either you choose to use it or you don't. And
I know how it feels to have that type of power. I've been in the 99-cent store with $20.
Have you ever been in the 99-cent store with $100 bill? I mean,
whoa, slow down there, man. That's
billionaire. You're thinking of a small business. I'm thinking industry.
Oh, excuse me. You're going to the 99-cent store, and man, you're just gonna buy everything. Save us.
It's not even the 99-cent store anymore, is it?
They're gone where I'm at.
Well, Dollar Tree is now the $1.25 tree.
Because I think they merged with Family Dollar.
Yeah, they're all
Family Dollar and Dollar Tree have been
for our world. They're horrible. They're just land grabs.
There is a wait, no, yeah, is it Dollar Tree? There's a combination Family Dollar, Dollar Tree, not that far away from me.
They call.
That's all I'll say. I don't want to give away my location.
Yeah.
Anyhow, we're 58 minutes. Is there anything about Diddy that we haven't really discussed or fleshed out when it comes to
I think that we will. I want, like, the first poll that we took. Will this domino into other industries? That's what I am really hoping happens, and I think will happen. Is that other super powerful people will be exposed for things they did in the dark. We're just seeing the celebrities first. But I don't know
how sloppy they were.
Yeah, I'm sure the people that have even more money were probably less sloppy.
Like, he was real sloppy. Like, he gave the evidence they got is his evidence. Oh, here,
Oh, right.
it's his evidence. They didn't record or nothing. He did.
Like he literally allegedly blew up, I think, Kid Cudi's.
Yeah, that's one of the alleged things he's done.
And so if that's the case, if he got away with that when there's all this evidence, Kid Cudi collaborates. I think Cassie was the one, or whoever it was, the one who said it. Like, are we going to look at whoever it was that literally had those papers in their hand and did nothing with it?
You want to know who to hold accountable?
Yeah, like
Jehovah.
Might as well go to the top.
That's the
Right.
top who controls it
there is
all.
Well, we
an
live
inequity.
in, like,
There's an
our
asymmetry
society
to it.
doesn't hold certain people accountable for it. Donald Trump says he can shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and people will still vote for him, and I believe it.
Mhm.
He's said many things. We have it on film. We have just as much reason to think that he is not.
Dr. Timewaster. You're talking about over majority of this planet. 2 billion people. 2 billion. Estimate 2 billion people. You know what their core belief is? And it's no surprising. It makes sense.
Christianity.
Yeah, it makes no sense. They operate the same way they operate with that. They operate with the other things. It's like what feels good, I'm not gonna question. What I was born in, it just is what it is. Oh yeah, people gonna believe everything. We're just gonna be. The rest of us is gonna be. We're just gonna be like this. This is our face every day. Just.
Well,
It's like.
Dude, you talking about Jehovah right now?
What you say?
I said, are you talking about Jehovah right now?
Yeah, Jehovah. Yeah.
His face is like that?
No, our face who don't believe. Face is like.
Oh.
Dude, they be saying such. You ever see something so ridiculous that you just go, man.
Oh man, the stuff I see every single day just has me want to take a vow of silence just to not even put up with anything.
I tell you, when that old guy told me that Jesus told him to tell me that Jesus loves me, it's like I'm like, oh, he's not even trying to be mean, but why?
Yeah, leave me alone with that. I'm good.
And I gotta go. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like if you're not polite about it, it's almost as if you're like a jerk or something because they're being nice.
Yeah, I don't want to be the
somebody
jerk.
saying thank you and you're not saying you're welcome. Like you kind of have to like public consideration is just to do the back and forth, like
because especially if they find out you're not, and then depending on who they are, they're gonna try to they love to find somebody who's not. They love, oh, this is my chance. God put you in my path today. No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
All right.
Because
you're not gonna convince him.
Well, as far as Diddy goes, I
hope it highlights a lot more things. Yes.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot more things that will eventually be uncovered if the people who have all the information in their hands are honest about it and don't get paid off, and we'll know a little bit more truth. But how long that will take, we don't know. But for right now, we should be mindful of what we're considering as actual evidence. It's fun to talk about and discuss. I do think I'm cool with that, but I think as long as we remember to keep our level heads and remember that not everything we read is true.
Right.
And not saying he didn't do it.
Investigate your sources thoroughly.
Investigate your sources. Everybody has their own spin, right? Everybody has a reason as to why they're telling their version of the story.
Yeah.
And I'm worried that that's going to detract from what I want it to reveal, which is empowering people to call out this behavior early enough that we're getting local, smaller pockets of people who are abusing, coercion, and trafficking people, manipulating people, because it's those people that are causing just as much harm. It's just not on a wacky scale.
It's
But
like if
if we all
somebody,
get caught up in all of the drama, we're gonna just get caught up in the drama.
hopefully it inspires somebody to not to say, you know what, I'm gonna go talk to somebody about the thing that's happening that I know about.
Right, exactly.
You know, I'm not gonna like too many people, even though we're chiming in, but we're not technically chiming in about proof of what proof
Yeah,
is.
but we're having
discussion about
context to things. Yeah, we're
we have a discussion about it.
contextualizing.
Instead of you popping your camera up so you can get a hot take on Diddy, get you some views off of this and whatever.
Right.
Like think about how I want to notice, and think about how in your life you're not noticing things around you. Pay attention to the things you're doing and the people you're around, and making sure you're not just
real impact.
You're not really falling behind somebody. Do you think it's a good person, but you think they're a good person? You don't notice
Everyday
certain
people
things.
who are enabling this type of behavior.
Yeah,
It truly is.
Yeah, and beware, like, oh man, I need to be more mindful of the people around me and what they're doing. You know, because it's some
just like people, the shock and awe whenever they find out it's a preacher in the church who's doing this kind of stuff. It's kind of like, no, it's the everyday dude. It's the dude. It's the teacher. It's the janitor. It's
you're looking at Diddy and you're not looking. Like,
in the mirror.
You too many on Diddy. Hey, yeah, Diddy's right there. Look at the people around you. Make sure you look at your.
This stuff only happens in Hollywood to not normal people, and that nothing bad like this would ever happen to people we love and care about, or people we know and trust.
That's where all the serial killers are at.
Exactly.
There was rarely in the dangerous places. There was at the everyday places that just was quiet, still, and calm.
And he lived in Green River territory.
Yeah. He got to live. He lived almost a full life. He did it, quit, and just like everybody else, hey man, that's sloppy.
That's right. Go too big, you're gonna get caught. Anyway,
so critical thinking.
Thanks for hanging out, everyone.
Yeah, critical thinking, and I think that's what we're trying to exercise here. And I know myself specifically trying to use that my muscle, my brain muscle, work it out a little bit because it was a bit rubbery from not being used and pushing my boundaries. I know that I was doing that. I was very comfortable with the information I had. So yeah, now I kind of enjoy flexing my muscle. I'm like, hold up. Now it doesn't mean I'm, always do it perfectly, but usually I'm like, how realistic is this? Is it actually true? What are the sources? What is the evidence? And I try to draw my own conclusion when it comes to things. And I'm very interested to see where this leads. I truly am.
And no matter how good you get at it, nobody ever does it perfectly.
No, you're gonna fall for stuff sometimes. I do it all the time.
And just remember, drawing a conclusion for the moment is fine until you get new evidence, until you get new information.
No, you don't.
It's okay to draw a new conclusion.
Only new light.
Right. It's okay to change your mind.
That decision forever. You can change your mind if
evidence.
It's
cool to change your mind. Seriously, it's okay to do research and be like, oh damn, I don't have the best
time. I totally think this is what's going on, and then I do a little research and I go, maybe not.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Or maybe just if more people just like wait before you post that video about that. Wait a day.
Before you make a conclusion.
Wait a little bit before you hop on it. Then like, oh, okay. I do that. I'll be like, I'll see something, and then I was like, something about it sounds off, but I'll be like, I'll just come back, and then sometimes then I'll see like, oh, it is what I thought, but still, I don't want to react to nothing I first seen.
Being first isn't always the best.
Right.
I prefer that.
Then it leads to a lot of retraction and stuff like that, especially when it comes to social media and doing those hot takes on
And then some people don't like to be wrong. Then they just dig
Yeah,
down their heels even more.
they dig deeper. Quickly before we go, ex-witness awake Jonathan, he says, can you do a shout out for anyone who might want to be a contributor to the channel? So yeah, of course, if there's anybody in the audience who's interested in either making content, being on a show, or contributing to a show, or do anything behind the scenes, tweeting, posts, what have you, answering comments, anything like that, you are more than welcome to join the Discord.
Oh, yeah, I have a Discord?
Yeah, we have a Discord. If you're not there or already in that, yeah, you're more than welcome to join if you'd like to join. But if anybody's interested, please let us know in the general chat. Just hit us up. We'd love to have you. We'd like to expand the channel. We're just looking for more contributors, please. Thank you.
Oh, that's what it meant when you kept saying general chat.
Yes.
Yes,
the general chat on the Discord, Rooney.
Did you want meditation, Tyler?
Thank you again, Andy. We appreciate you so much, and everybody in the comments. Jonathan, Emily was here tonight. Dinah, Vern stopped by. Thanks for stopping in, Vern. And anybody else? Who?
I think it's a Jay Bravely.
Oh yeah, that's right. Jay popped in. Archradish was popped his head in for a bit. Yeah, thank you everybody for coming. It was an interesting conversation, and as Dinah said, I enjoy hearing other people's opinions. It helps me to formulate my own. Again, just because I'm learning how to use these different parts of my brain. So yeah, I don't always think of things until I have somebody else put another perspective in front of me that I hadn't thought of. It's very pink alpha sub.
Oh, you're not the first woman who's told me that.
Oh yes, I created a link tree. I think I gotta get it linked on the YouTube yet, which is a reminder. But if there's any links that you have for like recovering from religion, people needing help, or just community, whatnot, let me also know in the general chat, and I can add those links to the link tree just so that way we can expand the community as well as send people in the right direction if they're looking for help after leaving a high control religion. All right, guys, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Good. Thanks for coming and hanging out. See you next time.
Yeah. Bye. See you next week.
Peace in the East.
We'll come up with a fluffier topic.
A fluffier topic. I like that. Not a puffier topic, a fluffier topic. Peace.
Bye.
No titty.
Oh, no Diddy.
No diddling.
Oh my God.